So let me ask you something for real. Are you exhausted trying to keep up with content, reels, stories, newsletters, hashtags, trends, and whatever new thing and algorithm God says you should be doing to grow your business? Have you ever opened your phone and stared at the blinking cursor and thought, do I even have anything original to say anymore? Maybe this sounds familiar. If I just had more followers, if I could just go viral, maybe then people would trust me. What if I told you that you don't need a massive audience to be seen as a trusted authority? In fact, most of the people I work with are already trusted experts, but they're so buried under the noise of their marketing tactics that they can't even hear themselves think, let alone show up powerfully online. You don't need a giant audience. You just need a message that moves people. One bold belief that your ideal client feels when they hear you speak. Welcome back to the CEO Shift Show, where we help you stop running your business like it's a job and start building it like it's a scalable tool that it's meant to be. I'm Carol Surbey, your coach, your ally, your biggest advocate in helping you build a business that serves your life, not controls it. Because you didn't start your business to feel trapped by it, you started it to gain freedom, fulfillment, and a sense of direction. And that starts with clarity. Today's episode is a game changer because we're getting honest about what really matters, about what it really means to show up as a thought leader. Not a thought sharer, not a tip machine, not a content robot, but a true leader. And why you don't need to be everywhere or do everything to make an impact. Because being heard isn't about how many people you see, but it's about how deeply your words resonate with the right people. So let's dive in. Here's what I see every single week with CEOs I work with. Hardworking, capable, heart-centered business owners who are experts in their field, amazing with their clients, and deeply passionate about their work, all stuck in the same cycle. Creating content like it's a hamster wheel, spending hours tweaking a reel, rewriting a caption, recording another video, and then wondering why it's not converting. They're not lazy. They're not unclear. They're just caught in a system that rewards activity over alignment. And underneath all of that effort, there's this quiet, anxious fear. If I stop posting, will I disappear? If I'm not everywhere, will they forget me? I want to stop right there and tell you the truth. Being visible isn't about being busy. It's about being believed. Leadership is not a performance. It's a perspective. It's not about how loud you are. It's about how consistently you help people see the world differently. Real authority is built by conviction, not content volume. It's built by someone who says, in my world, we do things differently. And then has the courage to keep showing up in that belief. Not switching the messaging every 3 weeks, not chasing every trend or algorithm shift, but anchoring in one truth with real stories, real lived experience, and practical wisdom. Same message, same energy, different angles, different seasons, over and over again. And that, my friends, builds something that you cannot fake. Trust. You don't need a giant audience. You need repeatable clarity. You need recognizable leadership. You need a message that someone could repeat after hearing it once. And this is big. Most of your future clients, they're not doom scrolling Instagram. They're not living on TikTok. They're running businesses. They're raising kids. They're paying invoices, solving problems, and wondering who can actually help them get to where they want to go without adding to their overwhelm. They're looking for a calm, competent guide, someone who speaks with clarity and makes them feel seen. And that begins with you deciding to show up like a leader, not a content machine. Not just visible, but valuable. So let's talk about something most business owners skip over in the rush to just get content out. Your message. Not the elevator pitch, not your Instagram bio, not your tagline. I'm talking about the foundational belief that drives how you show up, how you lead, and why clients are drawn to you. Every scalable business I've ever worked with, from the local service provider to consultants and trade business owners, all have one thing in common: a clear, grounded message that challenges how people see the world. This isn't fluff. It's not branding talk. It's your movement message. It sounds something like this. In my world, old belief is replaced with new belief. Why does this matter? Because your clients are already walking around with beliefs that are keeping them stuck. When you voice something bold and true, you don't just inform them, you invite them into a new possibility. Let me give you some real-world examples from clients that I've worked with. In my world, hustle isn't a badge of honor. It's business model failure. In my world, being fully booked is a warning sign, not a goal. In my world, systems aren't cold and robotic. They're a gateway to freedom. In my world, you don't have to be online 24/7 to grow. You just need repeatable rhythms that work for you. Each of these is more than a sentence. It's a stand, it's a signal, it's a way to say, if you believe this, you belong in my world. What is the one belief your industry keeps repeating that you know is broken? What do your best clients need permission to stop believing? And what perspective would feel like a relief to someone stuck in survival mode? That's your message. And that message, that's your authority. It becomes the root of everything. Your content isn't scattered anymore. Your team now knows how to speak about what you do, and your audience starts to remember you, not just for what you offer, but for how you think. Here's what happens when you lead with a movement message. Someone hears one podcast or one short story you post, or one sentence you say at a networking event, and they go, "Oh, Sid, that's the thing I've been feeling but I couldn't say. That's the person I've been looking for." And it's not because you're flashy. It's not because you went viral, but it's because you were clear. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence builds trust. That's what leads to conversations every single time. It isn't about being heard. It's about being remembered and respected and referred. Now that you have clarity on your message, where do you actually share it? Because you're not creating 17 pieces of content in a week, or you simply don't want your face plastered all over TikTok. How do you get your message out there in a way that works for you? Here's what I want you to hear today. You don't need a giant funnel. You don't need a massive budget, complicated content calendar to lead with authority. You just need to show up where trust builds fast. I call these the micro authority platforms. They're not about going viral. They're about going deep. They're high leverage, low burnout spaces where your leadership lands quickly and clearly. So let's name a few, and you might already be on them without realizing how powerful they can be. So your personal Facebook or LinkedIn. Most of us are sitting on years of relationships, peers, colleagues, past clients, and warm leads. And we're hiding behind business pages or ignoring them because we don't feel professional enough. Guess what? People trust people they already know. You don't need a slick funnel. You need a clear message and consistent presence where your network already lives. Talk about referral partners and strategic collaborations. Think about the people in your local or professional community who already serve your ideal client. Accountants, designers, therapists, coaches, realtors, contractors, vendors. Collaborate and cross-refer. Host a joint workshop or Instagram Live. Speak at the networking events. Authority is transferable when it's built on relevance and relationship. Email or text updates. These are people who have already raised their hand and said, yes, I want to hear from you. And yet, I see so many business owners send emails just once every few months, afraid of being annoying. If your message is clear and your energy is grounded, your emails become something people actually look forward to. And podcasts. As a guest, you don't need to launch your own podcast to be seen as a leader. Being a guest on a show, even one with a small, engaged audience, lets you go deep, be fully expressed, and share your message in a real human way. The most successful business owners I know, they're showing up in these spaces consistently, not perfectly, but intentionally. These aren't vanity metric platforms, they're connection platforms. And when you combine a bold, grounded message with the right environment, you start to attract people who are already aligned. They're not random followers. They're future clients. People who respect your values, who trust your leadership, and who feel safer investing with someone who's not chasing attention, but holding space for transformation. And remember, steady progress outperforms hustle every single time. There's one more piece here, and I'm gonna get to be real with you, because this is where a lot of smart, successful CEOs fall apart. It's all about energy. When you can't show up with confidence and authority, you can't lead from strength. And if you're exhausted, disconnected, and secretly dreading everything marketing related in your business, the inner drag you feel every time you open Canva or to write a post, that's your nervous system saying, this isn't working anymore. And listen, you didn't start your business to be glued to your phone. You didn't build this thing to manage comments, post 3 times a day, or even keep up with an algorithm hack. You started the business for freedom, for impact, to support your family, to create better options, to have more time, to wake up proud of what you're building. And maybe, just maybe, to actually be able to enjoy your life while you're doing it. Let's stop making visibility so complicated that it drains the life out of your mission. Let's stop acting like more noise equals growth. Let's build a business that works with our energy, not against it. And let's design a marketing system that doesn't just attract clients. The system actually feels good to implement. Because when your systems are simple, when your message is clear, and you're showing up in places that match your energy and strength, you lead better, you serve better, and you grow without grinding. That's the version of leadership that I want for you. And that's exactly what we'll help you build inside the Scalable CEO Academy. We don't just hand you strategies, we help you build a business that feels aligned, a message that feels true, and a structure that actually gives you your life back. Not for appearances, not for performances, but for sustainability, for sanity, and for that deep feeling of fulfillment that comes from knowing you're building something that works on your terms. So let me leave you with this. You don't need a giant audience. You need a clear message. You need alignment energy, and you need a repeatable, belief-driven. And if you're ready to build a business that supports your life, not runs your life, go to the scalableceoacademy.com. The doors are open, and we're just hanging out there, helping business owners just like you step into the true CEO leadership, one steady step at a time. And hey, if this episode helps you think differently, share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Subscribe so you never miss a mindset shift. And if you're feeling generous, leave a review. It means the world and helps more small business owners shift from overwhelmed to empowered. So until next time, this is Carol Surbey reminding you, your business is a tool, not your identity, not your burden. And when built right, it becomes your greatest asset. I'll see you on the next episode.